I'm just going to briefly introduce the work that I do to give you a context of the contribution that I can make to this panel. I work with the Center for Law and Policy Research, where we mainly work on law and legal development that significantly affects citizens' rights. So we have worked on the UID, the right to privacy, and the internet rights, but mainly we look at how the law affects the rights of the citizens under these laws that it enacts on internet and IT and so on and so forth. Today I'm going to be speaking in a somewhat similar angle, where I will speak about how the right to information can be used as a tool to seek seek a better democracy and a more participatory form of a government. But I will speak about the role of the internet in doing so. Um, the speakers before me have already done a fabulous job of introducing different perspectives, but I will mainly add two more points, or highlight two more points rather. One is that obtaining obtaining the right to information through the internet, obtaining information to the internet has to become a stronger right. I would argue that that is one way to make internet more accessible and a more friendly source of right to information for citizens. And the second point that I would like to make is that the interventions that are needed, the legal interventions that are needed to make this sort of internet to be, a tool for right to information, are a variety of legal interventions. So it's not a job of making a tweak and a change in one or two laws, or changing perspective in one or two policies, but it's about making a variety of interventions in a variety of laws. So I would just like to begin by giving a brief introduction to the right to information as a right, which many other speakers have done, but I would just like to highlight 2 points. RTI has been recognized as a fundamental right by courts in India. The Supreme Court has mainly recognized it in under two main fundamental rights, that is the right to life under Article 21 and the right to freedom of speech and expression under Article 19. So, but the court has never really expressed that a particular means of obtaining an information is also a right. So that has never been done in any judicial forum. So that is something I would like to highlight. So when we're talking about internet as a means of obtaining information, we don't really have a clear right as a fundamental right. So when it comes to information and the internet, I just want to say there are two kinds of informations that we can get. One is informations on the public records from the government. That is what we have been talking about so far. It's information as to the laws and the memos and circulars issued by administrative authorities and everything that the government communicates to the public. And the other is information from private persons when they are given freely over the internet. And there the larger issues of censorship and decency and morality would come in. And I'm not getting into the part of the information from private persons, because I don't feel that is a subject matter of this forum. But I would like to go into the kind of nature of the right in obtaining information from public records, and the role that internet plays in this right to information. And of course there are restrictions to these rights as well, which I will deal with later on. Now, when it comes to obtaining information through to public records, of course the RTI Act is the main statute that we have, and the main object of the RTI, as it declares, is increasing accountability and transparency. As we discussed section 4, many of the speakers have also highlighted this section. I just want to raise 2 points very quickly on this provision. It says that the state should endeavor to make accessible information through the internet as well. It includes the word endeavor. So that usage of words like this makes the state's obligation a little more discretionary, because it says that it does not say it shall provide information through the internet. It says that it shall endeavor to provide, and it makes it subject to the availability of resources. So this is something I just want to bring to attention, because making certain rights subject to the availability of resources does speak to the nature of the right itself. So there are some core rights, for example, the right to trial and the right to access to justice, which are not made, generally not made subject to availability of resources. So the government has to provide courts in every district. It cannot say that we don't have the resources to do so. So they are core rights that are made available to citizens in the country. But making certain rights subject to resources speaks to the nature of the right itself. And I just want to point out that Section 4, which we have been discussing so far, and it's not the problem of implementation of that. It's I would say that there is an extent of obligation that the government is trying to meet, but it does not have an absolute obligation under Section 4. So, and the role of the internet, it has been described dramatically. I mean, internet has been described as ranging from comments like truly amazing, and it has been described as the next best thing after the invention of fire. I don't know who made this comment, considering invention is, I mean, fire is a discovery. But anyway, it has been, categorized as a huge development, and the voice of the mass public with regards to free speech, and it has been dramatized a bit. But I just want to ask if making information accessible through the internet, does that ensure that there is a sort of transparency and accountability that is the objective of the RTI? And I would like to just say two things on this. I think it depends on the way that the information is used. Again, it does not depend on just whether it's available on the internet, but how it's made to be used and how it's accessible. So of course things like the format in which the information is made accessible and the means that are available to the public to access the internet as well do matter. So I wouldn't say that just by making information available through the internet guarantees you some kind of transparency and accountable nature of governance. But I think it is just an additional forum whereby you can exercise your rights to a participatory form of governance and thereby try and make the system more transparent and accountable. And I just want to note the difference between getting the objective of transparency and getting the objective of accountability. So while the internet can make information more transparent and can make governance more transparent, I think it's rather difficult to get more accountability out of it. I don't think internet can be that big a tool in getting accountability. As such, it can be used as a medium for it, but I think a lot depends on the citizens' participation themselves. And I wouldn't be very pessimistic about this, but because mainly I feel that it's too early to say anything about it. I mean, we can see a lot of pessimistic views, and we can see a lot of great people like Sunstein have said that internet has the capability of making you feel more close, because you tend to speak to people who share similar thoughts with you, and therefore it makes community more close and open. So there are thoughts that way, but there are no studies done on the impact of the internet, impact on right to information as a result of the internet. So I wouldn't be very pessimistic about it. I would say it has great potential to increase citizens' participation, but I would place the key importance on citizens' participation. And some progressive reforms, achievements have been made under the law. I wouldn't want to go into the details of it. The National E-Governance Plan and the open data policy, all of that has been done, and I think they are promising, but I wouldn't like to comment on it because they have already been made. But there are main hurdles on this, and the two main hurdles are the hurdles on implementation under the RTI Act and the hurdles with the other substantive rights. I think that will be discussed in the next session as well, but I just want to give a lead onto it. With the implementation aspect, much has been talked about, lack of infrastructure and access to internet, and there's no uniformity of standards, etc. But there are also issues that come with the internet and the accessibility to other kinds of rights. For example, the right to privacy. This has been noticed. A speaker in the second session highlighted that all the information should be made accessible, and there is no reason why all information just shouldn't be put up so that we can access it. But there are issues with, for example, with adoption records being made accessible, which would infringe privacy rights of certain parents and birth mothers as well as the adopted parents. So and there are issues with proprietary rights as well. So I would just like to end with highlighting that that there are substantive rights to be discussed as we discuss the right to information and the internet as a medium. And I hope that in the next session the speakers will highlight all this. Thank you.